Hi everyone, it's Vicki from Minerva. Today I've got some absolutely gorgeous fabrics to share with you. They do brand new fabrics in the Minerva Exclusive fabric collection. So not only have we got a brand new base cloth, we've also got 20 brand new prints, and I've got loads of pattern suggestions to share with you to give you some ideas on the sorts of things that you can make with this fabric. So let's get straight into it. So the fabric we're launching today is Scuba Fabric. Now, Scuba is a knit fabric. It's personally one of my favourite fabrics to sew with. It's so versatile. You can make so many different styles of garment with Scuba. And yeah, it's just, as far as knits go, it's an easier knit to work with. It's quite stable, and the weight of it just makes it nice and easy to handle. Like I said, we have 20 brand new prints, and there's some absolutely gorgeous designs. We've got lots of colour in this collection, but we also have some more subtle sort of pared back prints, smaller scale designs as well. So in today's video, I wanted to show you just 10 of my favourite prints from the collection. But like I said, there's loads more on the website for you to have a look at as well. And so we'll take a look at the new prints. We'll chat about the base cloth itself and the characteristics of it and what the sort of styles are you can sew with it. But I've also got lots of specific sewing patterns just to give you ideas on, you know, specific patterns that you can make in this fabric, and also to hopefully give you an idea of what details to look at in a sewing pattern, so that you can sort of find other patterns that might suit your style that you can make in Scuba Fabric. So first of all, let's have a look at the fabric itself, and let's chat about what Scuba Fabric is, and what you can make in it. So Scuba Fabric is a knit fabric, and it's a double face knit, and what that means is when you look at the front and the back of the fabric, it looks very similar, if not identical really, on both sides. Now obviously on printed Scuba like this, you know which is the right side because obviously that's the side that the print is on. Now because it's a double faced knit fabric, that gives it some weight, and this fabric actually weighs 260 GSM, so that's 260 grams per square metre, and that just puts it in the medium to heavyweight category on Minerva. Now when I hold the fabric up for you, you can see this Scuba does actually have a beautiful amount of drape. Now some Scuba fabrics can be very thick and very spongy and very bouncy, and this fabric does have elements of that. It does still have some bounce, and it is still a good weight, but it's not so thick and so bouncy that it has huge amounts of structure, and it does still have a lovely amount of drape, and we think that makes it absolutely beautiful for your dressmaking projects. It's going to hang really nice on the body, but you can still achieve structure as well. It just makes it a really, really versatile fabric. Now in terms of the stretch in this fabric, so this fabric stretches both widthways and lengthways, and it has fantastic recovery, as you can see there as well. Now it stretches approximately 40%, it's got approximately 40% stretch percentage across the width and approx 30% down the length. So that's a good amount of stretch in all directions, and again that makes it suitable for certain types of styles of garment. And that would be classed as a 4-way stretch because, like I say, it stretches in all directions. Now in terms of the sorts of things you can make with Scuba, it is superbly versatile. So you can make figure hugging styles, and because of the stretch in it and the recovery, it really suits anything figure hugging. Likewise though, it also suits things with garments with structure. So for example, maybe a tulip skirt or a fit and flare dress, maybe a puff sleeve, those sorts of details in a garment that just require a fabric with a little bit of bounce and a little bit of structure, which is what Scuba has. As well as figure hugging and styles with structure, you can also make things like sportswear. So you could make leggings, bra tops, you could make little like bomber jackets, there's so much, it's so much you can make with Scuba Fabric. Yeah, if you couldn't tell, I really love Scuba and it's one of my favourite fabrics to wear as like an everyday kind of garment, so tops and dresses in it. I love the fact that it's comfortable because of that stretch, because it's got a good weight, you know, it gives you a good amount of coverage, and yeah, there's just so many things you can make in it as well, but it is also that sort of fabric that you can dress up as well should you wish to. So I think next we'll take a look at the prints themselves. So I've chose 10 of the new prints today to share with you, but like I said, there's 20 brand new prints to the collection on the website now, and there's also some of the best-selling prints from previous collections that are now available on Scuba as well, so that's really exciting. So this first design it's called Sprinkle Shower and Scribble Shower, and isn't that just an absolute riot of joyous colour, and I think it's absolutely stunning, this print. It's such a fun design, so many beautiful colours in there with this abstract kind of scribble print. It's absolutely gorgeous, and the base colour on this is black, so all those colours really pop on this fabric. The next one we've got is definitely more subtle, much smaller scale, yeah, a much more sort of understated kind of design, and this one is called Glorious Garnish, and it really is a glorious print. How beautiful is this? If I hold it up to camera there, you'll be able to see those details. So the background colour on this is like a midnight sort of colour, like an inky colour, and the predominant colours in the print, we have a beautiful like chartreuse green, a mint green, a peach, a blush pink, and like an olivey green. It's quite an unusual but a really beautiful colour palette, and I think just the small scale sort of this design makes it really versatile for lots of things. You know, if you've got any styles of garment that have lots of panels or lots of details that are cut into and you don't want a big scale print, this would be, yeah, absolutely beautiful, and certainly no pattern matching needed on either of these first two prints that I've shared with you there. Next up we have something really funky, really fun, definitely very bold, and this one is called Zebra Crossing. And I love this design. I love the idea of this for some sportswear or leggings or a dress. How gorgeous is this? Now this design has bands of colour that work across the width of the fabric, and then we have within those bands we have lots of different animal print sort of textures, and then we have zebras, leopards, different sort of animals working across there as well. It's really funky. I mean, the colours are pinks, purples and oranges. It's just gorgeous. Next up we have a slightly darker print, but still with lots of fun colours in there, just a little bit more sort of scaled back and pared down than the last print. And this one is called Kaleidoscope Skies, and this is a beautiful starry print. They're like little shooting stars that scatter across the surface. How beautiful is that? So it's a black background and then shades of pink, blues, turquoises, oranges, but again, you know, it's predominantly black, so there's just hints of colour that come through in that print. So these shooting stars, it's got a lot of movement as that fabric. Really pretty print. So next up we have a floral print design, and this one is called Lilting Lobelia. Such a pretty fabric. I love the idea of making a really pretty sort of like fit and flare dress in this one, or a jumpsuit, or like a little top in it, or a little jacket. I think that's such a wearable print. Quite a warm colour palette. We've got lots of pinks, magentas and oranges in this one. Really gorgeous, and again quite a small scale print with that one. Next up we have, now this is a design that some people see flowers in it and some people see an animal print. The design is called Pollen Puffs. Personally, I actually see an animal print in this design, so it'd be interesting to see what you all think. How gorgeous and classic is this? So it's a very rich, deep, bottle sort of green colour in the background, and then these beautiful, very abstract kind of brush strokes that to me create this animal print design in shades of cream with a hint of chartreuse green in there. And that's absolutely gorgeous, very, very classic. I could imagine wearing this to, you know, quite more of a dressed up occasion. I think the print is quite sophisticated and therefore lends itself quite well to something a little bit more dressy. Really, really lovely. Next up we have another floral print design. This is a fun, colourful one, and this is called Serene Stalks. Now this one is a directional print, so make sure I hold that up the right way for you. And you'll see with this one, it's almost like stripes of flowers, again, that work across the width of the fabric. And the detail in this print is just gorgeous. Like all these little stripes of florals. When you look up close, the details in those flowers, it's so, so pretty. But again, from a distance, you know, it looks quite a funky kind of stripe print. And then it's only when you get up close you see all that detail. It's just wonderful, is that print. Next up we have something quite moody, a little bit of a darker print. This one is called Silver Linings, and this is a galaxy print design. So this is something quite new to the collection, and isn't that absolutely gorgeous? So it's all these I guess like galaxies and, you know, sort of space kind of theme print, and again it's got lots and lots of details in there, sort of like technical drawings of you know, galaxies and all sorts in that print. The predominant colour in the background is black or a very, very sort of dark midnight, and then all these greens, blues and teals and turquoises in the print. Just absolutely gorgeous, very kind of mystical, and yeah, a really unusual print, that one. Then next up we have a nautical print design. So this one's a little bit different, and it's called Anchors Away. And how gorgeous is this? So it's a very typical colourway, a colour palette for a nautical print design. So we've got the rich kind of quite vibrant navy colour in the background, and then the red and white in the anchors and the rope on that design. And again, it's an all over print, certainly isn't going to need pattern matching. Really, a really like sort of fun design, that one. Yeah, just something a little bit different. And then the one we have on the mannequin here, so this one, let's take this off the mannequin. So this one is called Fruitful Fancies, and this is a larger scale print and definitely a bold one in terms of colour. How gorgeous is this? So the background is covered with bold cherries, oranges, lemons, apples, berries. It's just so fun. Again, I think that would really suit some active wear, or just, you know, a really bold kind of, you know, dress for every day. That's really, really fun. So that's all the 10 prints I had to show you today, but like I said, there are plenty more on the website. But I also wanted to mention as well, we do actually have a range of plain scuba fabric. So this is the black colourway, but it does come in lots of colours. And this is actually the exact same fabric that the print collection is printed onto. So if you wanted to do any colour blocking, or maybe a cord, or just any sort of style where you want to work a plain with a print, or perhaps you're more of a plain fabric person, I just wanted to mention we also have this available as well, so we'll tag that below. And then if you want to explore the plain colours that we have available, we do have that in the Minerva Core range as well. And just before I get stuck into the patterns, I did also want to mention Marlex and Seriflock thread. Now, if you've never come across these before, the Marlex is a relatively new thread on the market from Gutermann, and the Seriflock, that's been going a little bit longer. We've stocked this for quite a while now at Minerva, and this is from the brand called Metley. Now, what they both are is an elasticated thread. So it's not like a shearing elastic, it's actually a thread that you can sew with, and when you sew with this, it actually has give in the thread. So what it means basically is that you can sew a straight stitch on your machine, just a regular straight stitch, like you would sew a cotton or any woven fabric. And what it will mean is that your stitches will then stretch with the fabric. So it eliminates the need to sew with either a stretch stitch like a zigzag or a a stretch stitch on your machine. It eliminates the need for an overlocker, and it does actually make sewing quite a bit quicker because you're only having to sew with a stretch stitch. So yeah, only having to sew with a straight stitch rather. So yeah, they're two really good options. The only difference really between the two, it's the same sort of thread, but the Seriflock comes on a bigger cone and does work out better value because you're buying a bigger amount of it. But the Gutterman, it still has 150 meters on a reel. It's more, you get more on it than you do a standard thread, and that does come in lots more colours as well. So they're both good options to know about. And yeah, if you're somebody that maybe is put off by knits because you have to think, oh, I have to sew with a different stitch and that sort of thing, perhaps these threads might be really good for you. And as well, what we would recommend with Scuba is to sew with a ballpoint needle. So with a ballpoint needle, that basically means that the tip of the needle has like a rounded point or a rounded tip, so it's not super sharp. And what that does is when you're stitching along your fabric, it finds a hole in the fabric rather than creating one, and that just it creates a neater stitch line, and it eliminates any worries of creating ladders in knit fabrics. So it's great for Scuba. Ballpoint needles are great for Scuba, but they're also great for for other knit fabrics as well. So they're definitely a good one to have in your sewing kit. If your machine does struggle with a ballpoint needle, you can always try a stretch needle as well. Generally, stretch needles are designed for fabrics that have lots of stretch in them, and I would say the Scuba is on the point of between the two. So I'd try a ballpoint needle. If your machine struggles with that at all, move to a stretch needle and you'll find the one that works best for you. Just quickly going back to the thread as well, if you are sewing styles that require the fabric to stretch an awful lot, so leggings would be a great example because leggings generally stretch to fit a little bit, or any garment that's particular figure hugging, you might want to use the thread with a stretch stitch as well, and that will give you even more stretch. In fact, a swimming costume is a very good example of when you might want to use this sort of thread with a stretch stitch as well. But yeah, all these different options for sewing with Scuba. So let's take a look at some pattern styles. So like I mentioned, you can make tops, jackets, leggings, dresses, skirts, shorts, even swimwear, loads of things you can make with Scuba. So I've got quite a few patterns to share with you now. So the first pile I've got are all tops and dresses, so sort of styles that you can wear every day, and then we have a few dressed up looks as well. So the first pattern I've got is the Minerva Exclusive Savannah dress. So this is a pattern we launched last year. It's been so popular. Thank you so much to everyone that's bought the pattern from us and made it. We're so happy that you love the style just as much as we do. And this is a cocoon style dress. It has fabulous princess seams that go into gorgeous roomy pockets. It has a little grown-on sleeve with a band detail, and then just a simple round neckline. It's really quite quick and easy to sew, and in Scuba it would just look amazing. And I think that's the kind of style you could dress up or down. Next up we have McCall's 7719, and this is definitely a dressed up dress, something you're going to wear to an occasion or on a night out. And this, so you have, it's one of the patterns from McCall's that's called Create Your Own Look, and they basically number like different bodices and different skirts. So you've got loads of different looks basically that you can create from the one pattern. So you have a more fitted skirt, or you have a fuller skirt that has pleats in it. And I thought this was a really good pattern to demonstrate sort of both types of garments that Scuba is really good for. The fitted bodycon dress, fabulous in Scuba. It's figure hugging, will stretch to fit, make it really easy to achieve a good fit, and you can move in the garment because of the stretch in the fabric. But likewise, the skirt that has big pleat details in it, the weight and the bounce in Scuba will give that skirt an absolutely gorgeous shape. It's going to hold that the shape of that skirt absolutely beautifully. So yeah, I'm quite tempted to make this next time I have an occasion that requires a dress like this, because I think that will be absolutely gorgeous in Scuba. Next up we have McCall's 7683, and this is actually another create your own look pattern. And this, I think this dress, there's so many different options in the one pattern. When we insert the line drawings, you'll be able to see just how many different options there are. But you have some beautiful off the shoulder details on the bodice, you have a beautiful V neckline option, you have a shorter skirt that's very full, like a circle skirt, that would hang really beautifully in Scuba. Then you have something that's longer line with a train and a split up it, and again the weight of Scuba is going to hang really nicely on that. So Scuba would just be fabulous for all of those. Next up we have the Tilly and the Buttons Coco. Now this is actually a top and a dress in this pattern, the shape of this pattern sort of comes out ever so slightly, so it's like slightly sort of A-line, and again Scuba will hold that shape really nice, and because of the thickness, it's just going to skim over the body really nicely, which that's something that Scuba does really well. It's not a knit fabric that clings, it just skims over you, which is one of the reasons I really love it. Next up we have McCall's 7349, and this is another dress pattern I want to make actually. This is a round neckline princess seam dress, and it's sort of like a fit and flare style, which will just be gorgeous in this Scuba. The drape of this Scuba is going to mean that skirt swishes fabulously, but it will be nice and sort of structured enough at the top. Yeah, it will make that part fit really well. Next up we have a completely different style of dress from Vogue Patterns, number 8805, and this is a very straight boxy dress, and I thought this was a very good example again to show where the structure and the weight of Scuba comes in, because it's going to really hold the straight boxiness of this dress. You know, it's going to hang very straight, and as you move in the garment it's going to help keep the shape of it. So that will be another really good option. Then we have a top pattern from Simplicity, number 5555, and this is actually one that we picked out for our Sewing Bee video earlier in the year, where I think it was Pasha made a top very similar to this, and I think she maybe used a fabric like Scuba. And so with this top, you'd have different options. The one I was looking at was the option where the neckline sort of twists and it goes round to the back of your neck in a halter style. Again, the soft drapey element of this Scuba means it's going to twist round that neck detail really nicely, but the weight of it's going to give it a lovely sort of structure and feeling when you're wearing it. Likewise with the plainer sort of halter neck options, it will work really well for those as well, and the one that's a little bit more of like a bikini top, it would work great for that. Next up we have the Renee dress from Style Art Patterns, and this is quite a fitted dress. It has some really unusual, like quite square sort of inset panels, sort of like contrast inserts at the side of the waist. It's an elbow length sleeve, and it has a kick pleat at the back, so it's quite a sophisticated style. I could imagine wearing this you know, if you needed to, if you were working in the office, if you were, you know, on a night out. It's got quite a sort of sophisticated, like elevated sort of look to it. And one thing I wanted to mention on this pattern is it is actually designed with an invisible zip in the back, at the back of the dress. But if I was sewing this, I would just omit the zip, because the amount of stretch that you get in Scuba, you wouldn't need the zip to be able to get in and out of it. You could just pull that on over your head and it would stretch enough to get on over your head, but the recovery in the fabric would make sure that it pings back into shape and is still a nice fitted garment. So remember, that's always an option on you know, lots of styles of dresses or jumpsuits even. If they come requiring a zip, if you've got a fabric like this that has lots of stretch and recovery, you often don't even need to put that in. But of course you could still, if you wanted to. Next up we have McCall's 7971, another gorgeous dress. I thought on option B particularly, it was worth mentioning that the frills on the edge of those sleeves would work really well in Scuba, because in this Scuba especially, because it's got that lovely draping element. But likewise, the simple design of C would just be very, very clean, very classic in a Scuba. Next up we have the kit knit dress from Style Arc. So this is quite a loose, oversized style, quite simple. It comes in a little bit at the hemline, has a V-neck, grown on sleeves. I thought this was a really good style to demonstrate, you know, if you were making that in a very thick, bouncy Scuba, I don't think that would work well. It would be too structured, too stiff, stand out too much from the body. But with our Scuba that has the beautiful draping element, it would work fantastically in a style like that, because there's enough drape to make it hang really nicely. Next up we have New Look 6145, and this is rated an easy pattern for knits, and there's 5 different styles of knit dress on there, which are all quite similar. You have different sleeve options, a beautiful sort of stand-up kind of collared, neckline detail, or just very simple round. It has darts at the bust for shaping, and just a very simple kind of like a shift dress, really. Really, really lovely design in its simplicity. Next up I've got a children's pattern in here. So this covers ages 7 to 16 years across 2 different size band patterns, and it's a very simple round neckline dress with a gathered or a full circle type skirt, or a half circle skirt rather, and it has sleeveless options with sleeves, and then different details on the back as well. Just really, really quite simple, very, very pretty dress. Again, that skirt section is going to hang so nicely in the Scuba. Next up we have the Lodo dress from True Bias, and I've seen this made up so many times in Scuba. Works really, really well. Again, the next pattern, I've seen this made up so many times in Scuba. In fact, I think the version that the model is wearing on the envelope is actually made in Scuba. So this is the River dress and top. Very simple, kind of almost like a t-shirty style dress, a V-neck or a round neck option. Yeah, really simple, very easy to sew, great for a beginner, that one. And then lastly on the dresses, we've got the Cashmerette Rivermont dress and top, and this is another one where the model on the envelope is actually wearing a dress made in Scuba. Yeah, it just suits it really well, either the dress or the top. And this pattern actually comes with cup sizes C to H, so great if you have curves. Next up, so we've got patterns other than tops and dresses. So I wanted to include tops and dresses because they're always really popular patterns at Minerva, so we know that's what lots of people want to sew. But I really wanted to get across the versatility of Scuba and lots of different things you could make. So first up, we've got a unisex pattern. This is McCall's 7637, and this is a bomber jacket, and you've got the option with or without a hood. And yeah, it's just a really fantastic bomber jacket. This pattern has been going for quite a long while now, and so many people have made it. And in Scuba, it would just work really, really well for a lighter weight, you know, jacket that you could just, would act as a nice cover up. Next we have Burda 6315, and this is a really cool hoodie or sort of like sweatshirt type pattern. Now, Scuba's maybe not the first fabric you would think of for a sweatshirt, but you certainly can use it for all those sweatshirt and hoodie type patterns. And it, you know, the stretch in it is just going to make a very comfortable, you know, it's not going to be anywhere near as light as a t-shirt, but not so sort of fluffy and soft maybe as like a sweatshirt fleece fabric would be. So it's a more sporty version, somewhere in the middle. Next up we've got McCall's 7331, and this is it's designed by Nancy Zeman, and this is one of those sort of like lifestyle wardrobe kind of patterns that McCall's do, where you get a gazillion different styles in the one envelope, so it's really good value for money. So we have View A, which is a jacket, View B, which is quite a simple round neck top, View C, which is like a fitted sort of pencil type skirt, and then View B, which are pants or trousers that have a quite wide band at the top and are quite fitted. So quite like leggings really. And I think any of those styles you could make in the Scuba. Yeah, the top would be a very simple, easy make, great for a beginner. The skirt would be, again, very, very simple. Even the trousers, because of the stretch of the pants, the stretch in this fabric is just going to make them so much more easy to fit. And the jacket, you know, it's a nice loose sort of style, requires the fabric with a little bit of drape. That would be lovely. Next up, I've got another jacket. So this is McCall's 6996, and this is a really lovely sort of casual throw-on sort of jacket. You've got 4 different styles in the pattern, and to me these all require a fabric with a little bit of drape. You've got a little bit of gathered sort of ruching that goes the fabric as it goes into the neckline at the back. The way it sort of hangs, like especially on view A and view B, that shaped hemline, you want something with a little bit of softness. So again, the Scuba would work really well on those. Then we have the Bishal jackets from Style Art Patterns. This is a super versatile pattern. You can make it in anything from really light fabrics to really heavy fabrics and get a completely different look. In a Scuba like this, you know, it's going to have a nice weight to it. It's going to hang nice and soft, nice and drapey. Yeah, and it would just be a really sort of nice casual jacket to throw on as an extra layer. Then we have a couple of different skirt patterns that are both very different, and again both suit the Scuba super well. So we've got McCall's 8055, and either option, or any option really, you've technically 8 different options in this one pattern. So you have a very simple, sleek pencil skirt kind of shape with a waistband, and you have 4 length options in that one. So anything from sort of like a maxi length to above the knee length. And then the other version is a fuller skirt, so a little bit more than an A-line, again with a waistband, and again you have 4 different length options in that one. So the fuller skirt would really suit the swish of the drape of the Scuba. The more fitted one would make the most of the stretch and recovery in the Scuba. And then the other skirt pattern is McCall's 8205, and this is actually one of the Learn to Sew level 2 patterns, so it's nice and easy. And this one is a full skirt, so perhaps not a full circle skirt, but certainly not far off. There's a lot of fabric in this one, and you've 3 different length options. All of them have a waistband. They do actually require a zip, but again I think you could leave that out with the Scuba because of the stretch in it. Yeah, and just the drape of the Scuba and the swishiness and the volume of the fabric in that skirt, it's just going to swish beautifully, hang really nice. It's going to feel really lovely that to wear and look really good. Oh sorry, and I did actually have one more pattern, skirt pattern. So this is the Halley skirt from Style Art. Now this is a really cool asymmetric style, and you'll see from the line drawings that it has what looks like a wrap over, and then this sort of like pointed detail at the hem. And what I thought would be really cool with that one would be to maybe team a print with one of our plain Scubas. And you could perhaps, the smaller panel, you could perhaps do in the plain, and then the bit that looks like a wrap over and perhaps the back of the skirt, you could do in the print. I think it would just be a nice colour blocking effect and would really show off that style line in the skirt. Or of course, you could sew it all in a print or all in a plain if you wanted to. And then the last 2 patterns, so I wanted to show you a little bit of sportswear, just to show, give an example of how Scuba can be used in sportswear. So with this pattern, we have the Jarly 3887 Clara leggings, and with Jarly patterns, they actually have 27 sizes in the one pattern that spans over girls and women's sizes. So it's a super versatile pattern. And this particular pattern, so we're looking at fitted leggings or shorts, sort of like cycle running shorts type of thing. So yes, Scuba will be fantastic for this because it has enough stretch, it's figure hugging, and it's got that sort of structure and weight and body that would hold them really well. Now you could make this sort of pattern in activewear fabric as well, which we also have in the Minerva Exclusive collection. and that would create definitely a very kind of sporty pair of leggings. Whereas this, you could use them as sporty leggings, but they could also maybe be dressed up, you know, maybe a little bit more dressed up than the activewear fabric. And Scuba is just thicker in feel than activewear. So if you're somebody that feels like you want more coverage, like for example, I think these would be really good as yoga leggings, you know, that you could wear out and about as well, and they would just be so comfortable. So I think that's a really good pattern option. And likewise, if you wanted to make like a little sport bralette top, you know, something that you could wear whilst working out, again, you can make that in Scuba as well. And then the last pattern is actually a swimwear pattern. Now, Scuba isn't generally thought of as a swimwear fabric. Usually you would use more of an activewear fabric again. But because it is a 4-way stretch, and because it has a good amount of stretch and good recovery, there's absolutely nothing stopping you from using Scuba for swimwear. And it's actually really good because the extra weight that you have in Scuba can just make you feel like you've got a little bit more coverage, make you like, sort of hold you in a little bit more. Like I like that side of sewing Scuba for swimwear, because it just makes me feel, you know, I guess a bit more comfortable in you know, a swimming costume or a bikini. And the pattern I've chose here is the Tilly and the Buttons Coralie swimsuit or bikini. There's so many options in this one pattern. I love the ruffle options personally, but you have got the plain option in there. And this is just one example of a swimwear pattern. We have loads of different options on the website. But yeah, I just wanted to show you that one to demonstrate that you can actually use Scuba for swimwear as well. So that's everything for today. I really hope you enjoyed taking a look at those new fabrics. Is Scuba a fabric you've ever sewn with before? I'd love to hear from you in the comments. I think Scuba's one of those fabrics that once you sew with it, it kind of hooks you in and you realise just how versatile it is and actually how easy it is to sew for a knit fabric as well. I'm definitely one of those types of sewers that I've kind of, you know, I've just realised what a fantastic fabric it is, and now it's definitely one of my favourites to sew with, and certainly one of my favourites to wear as well. So yeah, let me know in the comments, have you ever sewn with Scuba before, and what did you make? And if you haven't, would you like to try you know, giving Scuba a go, and what would you love to make? Let me know as well, which was your favourite print. Yeah, there's, like I said, lots more designs on the website, so please do check those out as well. Perhaps the ones I chose weren't for you, but there's so many more on the website. I'm sure there's probably something for everyone. So as always, below this video, I'll tag all the fabrics that I've shown you today, and we'll tag all the patterns, so you can click on those on Minerva. And of course, the great thing with Minerva is that members of our wonderful sewing community, if they've shared makes using these patterns or these fabrics, you'll be able to see those on the product pages. And I think sometimes just seeing a pattern made up or a fabric made up, you can really help you visualise, can't it, what something might look like when you make it up, and you know, decide if that's the right fabric or the right pattern for you. And people are so generous in the Minerva community, sharing their tips, sharing their advice, you know, and being able to see patterns and styles on lots of different people with all different shapes and body sizes, people sewing with all different levels of ability as well. And you know, just being able to see the fabrics and patterns on such a variety of people, it can just really help, you know, sort of inspire you and help you in your sewing journey as well. So if you don't already have an account at Minerva, please do head over and create an account on our website. It's completely free, and you can join thousands and thousands of other sewists from all around the world who are on Minerva, sharing their makes, chatting sewing with the community, sharing their plans, asking for tips, you know, help and advice. It's such a wonderful community for sewists, literally from all corners of the globe. So yeah, do join us on there, and if you do make anything in these patterns of fabrics, please do share them with us. We always love seeing your makes, and it's, you know, really inspiring for the rest of the community as well. So I think that's everything I've got to share with you today. Oh, actually, one more thing I did want to mention is we often get asked, do we actually sell samples of fabric? And yes, we do is the answer. So at Minerva, you can buy a sample of any fabric on our site, and the Scuba Fabric is no exception. So if you wanted to buy a sample, if you just head to the product page, you'll be able to see next to the add to basket button, there is a order sample button. Just click on that and it'll add a sample to your basket. And what you will be sent is the full width of the fabric by approximately 10 centimetres. So it's a really good size piece, you know, just enough to be able to properly feel the fabric, see the print, and you know, get a really good idea of the stretch and the drape and just the characteristics of the fabric. And I always think they're really good to sort of keep in your sewing arsenal, you know, in your sort of stash, and if you can build those up, and it becomes a really good sort of like reference then of all different fabric types that you can look at again and again and again, and it just you know, it's just a really good physical in-person swatch for you to be able to reference at home. So yeah, that's everything I wanted to mention today. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. Please do give us a follow. Please do give us a like if you enjoyed that. And I'll be back again soon with another video filled with sewing and fabric goodness.